On this episode of Fee-Based Financial Planning Mastery, I'm going to talk about the ultimate fee-based financial planner time management solution. You see, if you wear the term workaholic like a badge of honor, you're just preaching to the world about how inefficient you really are.
Running a successful fee-based financial planning business is tough, and escaping the shackles of a commission-based financial planning practice is terrifying. When all you want to do is learn from those who know, learn from financial planners who are there on the front lines doing it each and every day. What if you could just open their kimono and take a look inside to learn what works and what doesn't? Now there's a place where the secrets to running a fee-based financial planning business are revealed to those who believe. Fee-based financial planning mastery. Ease your mind.
Hi everyone, it's Scott Plaskett here, and thanks for joining me. In this podcast, you will learn what's working and what's not in the world of fee-based financial planning. In each episode, I'm going to open my kimono and let you take an insider's look at what's working and what's not in my practice to help you take your business to the next level. I've been a fee-based certified financial planner since the early 90s, so believe me, I know the challenges you're facing. So get ready to learn not from a teacher, coach, or guru, but from a colleague who's on the front lines just like you. And I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my email internet newsletter to get the most up-to-date tips on how to build and grow your fee-based financial planning practice by going to feebasedfinancialplanningmastery.com. Hey everybody, I wanted to give you a bit of an update on what's happened. You may have remembered the last episode I was talking about how our computers crashed and sort of went through the ultimate, I guess, fear and risk that we all have, which is, potentially losing everything. Well, as I had mentioned in the past episode, we use a company called No Panic Computing to help us with managing all of our machines. And I tell you, I was speaking highly of them back then. Now, again, this isn't a commercial for them, but I'm definitely wanting to extend kudos to them and their service, because I'll tell you what happened. I thought we were just going to get the machines fixed. In actual fact, Kathy, she got a brand new machine. So it was a totally new machine. They found a couple of other things wrong with her machine, so they just replaced it, backed up, took the actual backup that she'd done from the day before, put it all back on her machine. It's as if it's running so smooth right now. And she's basically working on it as if, she's not skipped a beat. Didn't have to do a thing to it. They actually took one of my machines, took it back, and I said, look, it's just not running right. So, and I don't really need anything on it. So if we could just reformat everything. They reformatted it, but they also upgraded to the latest version of Windows 7. So that was great. And the machine is running as fast and better than it did when we first had it. So I tell you, make sure you do have a managed solution for all of your computers. On that note as well, yesterday, I was actually at a Mac store or an Apple store because I was getting my mother-in-law all set up with a new computer as well. And we decided that it was probably made the most sense for her to go to a Mac. Well, again, I'm quite enamored by Macs. I think there is a solution in place for fee-based financial planning firm to migrate their entire practice over to Macs. So I'm going to be doing that at our next opportunity. We've still got a bit of a time frame left on the lease that we have for our computer network system. But I tell you, when it comes time to migrate over, I'll be sort of going through the whole process that we go through with that, what's working, what isn't working, and I'll share all of that information with you on a future episode. But I really think that the Macs have got a leg up on the overall, just the servicing that comes with it. I mean, No Panic Computing, definitely they've got it for the individual machines, but they don't really support the network environment. So, you may want to, if you're PC only, then definitely look at No Panic. But as far as the Macs go, I think, there's a lot of greatness in the Mac. Again, we're using Google Apps, so we tend to have all of our email, everything like that is all, not client dependent, not on the computer dependent. So I'm not really reliant on a lot of that information anymore. And we are sort of going more virtual with everything. Anyways, I will keep everybody posted on how we migrate over and when we migrate over. It's not going to be for, at least another year or so, but when that happens, I'll keep you posted. But in the meantime, definitely touch base with No Panic Computing if you're looking at a computer solution, because they will give you great machines, great service. And as I say, this isn't a commercial for them, but man, they really got me and my computers out of a hole and made the experience fantastic. So check them out, No Panic Computing, and I will see you next in the feature segment.
And now for our feature segment.
The ultimate fee-based financial planner time management solution. Or if you're considering yourself a workaholic, you are just showing the world how inefficient you really are. You see, my life many years ago, when it comes to time efficiency and how to plan your life and whatnot, I have a lot to say on this, because my life many years ago, Kathy and I worked together 7 days a week to get the business up and running. I mean, we really, we had some friends that we have grown up with and whatnot, but we really had no, core relationships with others. And we loved what we were doing. And, I was having a ball. I mean, I was working with my wife. My wife's my best friend. We were working in the business together, building a future, building a life. We both love the whole financial planning business. So it was really, what was I missing? It was great. We began to get pretty burnt out, though. I mean, that was one of the problems, is that you can only do it for so long. And we did start getting burnt out, and we just decided that we needed a better life. So we decided to move to the country. Did that, moved to the country, and spent 4 years there working all of the time and meeting no new people. Sure, we were working in the country, and we were having a good time doing it. But, all it was the view out the window was not another brick wall. It was the forest, and it was trees, and it was beautiful. But we really weren't meeting any people. So we decided to, meet people, get out and do just that. We started a family, and at that point we realized things really needed to change. So what I did was, at the time, I really have understood the benefits of working with a coach. And I'd heard of this program that quite popular, didn't know very much about it, started looking into it, actually met one of the coaches at a conference I was at, and he and I just had a conversation for probably a good, hour and a half, 2 hours. Don't even remember what was going on at the conference, because he and I were just talking. And at the end of the day, he was a coach for this program, and I just thought, there's a lot of value in what he has to say. And the coach, you've probably heard it before. It's one that's very, very popular these days. It's called the Strategic Coach. Dan Sullivan is the owner and founder of the Strategic Coach. But I say that, but I find that there's a misconception about the Strategic Coach program, and the misconception is that it has all the answers, and it sort of creates this certain way you have to do things, and it's very rigid, and everybody starts looking the same. And the reality is that that's the furthest thing from it. You see, it doesn't have all the answers for you, but it has a ton of tools that will allow you to find the answers that are right for you. And there's a big distinction there, because when you're looking for somebody with an answer, then chances are it may not be the right one for you. So you need to craft and design the solutions that are right for you, but oftentimes we don't know how to get to that. And that's where the Strategic Coach program comes in, and it has a lot of tools that you can use. I mean, when I say a lot of tools, it has a lot of tools. Anybody who's been in the program or who is in the program knows that there's a tremendous number of tools that you get every quarter. And you sometimes at the beginning, I know one of the problems I had when I first started, and I've been in the program for probably 12 years now. I know one of the problems I had was I felt I had to do everything. I had to take advantage of every tool that was there. And I was getting, quite overwhelmed, and it didn't make any sense. So, you do kind of gravitate to the main tools that work for you. And, they do have their core tools, which I think everybody needs to focus on. And even still, if you ask any of the people that are involved in the program and have been there for a while, are they using all of the core tools? Probably not. But take it with that in mind, that it is a fantastic solution. There's really no other place that I know that I can go and have the types of conversations I do with other business owners, because nobody outside of those four walls during that session really has a true appreciation for what it is that we go through as business owners. And so it's a nice environment, very supportive environment. And I guess you can call me a lifer when it comes to the Strategic Coach, because I'm definitely going to continue with that for as long as I possibly can. So anyways, I saw and recognized the benefit of hiring a coach. And during that process, it really began to focus me and whatnot. Now, I really embrace the idea of planning the year 12 months in advance. So what that means is take a look at your year and say, well, how do I want this year to look in advance? And make the work fit around the year that you want to have happen. So you need to sort of plan it a little bit backwards. Instead of planning out the work, you say, look, let's plan all of our time off first of all, and then plan all the time that we need, or plan our time off, then plan the work days that we want, the days that are actually there to generate revenue, and then plan around how we're going to planning for the time off, and planning for getting the revenue generation things done, and all the messes and whatnot. And so there's really the three different types of days, and I've sort of embraced that and incorporated it into my own unique solution that I'm using for how to run my fee-based financial planning practice. But at the end of the day, getting involved with a time management solution, and it's really, it's just a way of life. It's more of a discipline and a routine that you get into, and it allows you to clean up a ton of messes. It allows you to get through so much information, and you become really, really quite efficient. So you're no longer wearing that badge of honor saying, well, I'm a workaholic and I love it, because all that really does do is, as I say, is it just screams to the world how inefficient you really are. So find ways of becoming more efficient with your work schedule and whatnot. Now, I'm going to give you an update on what my life's like today compared to how it was many, many years ago. So what I did right off the bat, I realized, I need to incorporate a 4-day work week instead of a 5-day work week. Now, that doesn't always happen, and I'd be completely honest with that. It's not like I'm able to comply with this 100%, but by focusing on that, every weekend or most weekends have turned into long weekends. And that's a great thing. I mean, it's nice to have that time off and to rejuvenate and whatnot. So it's important to make sure you do plan your time off. And it's amazing what you can get done in a 4-day work week versus a 5-day. I mean, who says we have to work a 5-day work week? I mean, we work for ourselves. It's one of the luxuries we have of being able to craft things the way we want to do it. Now, I will tell you that the 4 days that I do work are very, very busy days. I probably get more done in those 4 days than most people get done in 7 days. So, it's just a different slant and a different approach to efficiency, and it just allows you to rejuvenate as well. Working hard really no longer a badge of honor. It's not something that you want to be doing on a regular basis. You do want to have time off. And the results I've had is that, I now have time with my family. I have a lot of time with my family, and, I'm having a great lifestyle and having good quality relationships with my family, with my wife, with my 2 daughters, and giving them, the lifestyle that I've wanted to give them, giving myself a good lifestyle. That's become my addiction. I mean, my quest, to be honest with you, has always been to become unemployed, but to get paid for it. Now, I'm nowhere at this point yet. So, don't get me wrong. I'm not sort of standing up and preaching, this is what you need to be doing, because, I'm nowhere near that point yet. But I'm having fun. So the ability to craft and design your lifestyle and design your work and your business and everything, that's where the power lies. So, business systems and unique methods were the solutions that allowed me to generate predictable results and freedom from all the stuff that I don't like, and the freedom came from good systems. So I want to sort of expand on that a little bit. I mean, the good systems really are what allow you to walk away from things, to do proper delegations. And we'll get into that a little bit more later in this episode. So what that's done is it's given me this whole process that I went through, and the whole process of going through with the coaching and working with my wife, wanting to have a better life and starting a family and moving to the country and doing all these wonderful things. It's really given me certain beliefs. And I've got 4 core beliefs that I think are important. So the first one is you want to make sure you reduce the amount of time you have to do something in order to get it done. Don't give yourself lots of time to do things. Really cram yourself. What I find is that if we give ourselves a week to do something, it's going to take a week to do something. It's going to take a week to do that thing. So we want to make sure that we're not giving ourselves too much time, because the reality is we're going to take that time. So what I like to do is I like to cram things in. I like to say, okay, I'm going to overschedule myself and really focus on the most important things. Prioritizing in this point is really important, and we're going to get into how I prioritize each day. But make sure that you don't give yourself too much time to do it. I mean, they've always said, if you need something done, give it to a busy person, because they're the ones that are more efficient with their time. So, take that to heart. That's become a core belief of mine. And if I want to get something done, I just make sure that I schedule myself a very small amount of time to do it, because it's amazing how efficient you get when you've got a deadline. I mean, how efficient you are the week leading up to a vacation where you're going to have to take a flight to get there. When you're leaving, when that flight is not going to wait for you, it's amazing how efficient you are during that week leading up to it. So core belief number 2, Plan your ideal week in advance. Now, I can't talk to you about how important this is. Planning your week in advance makes it so your week, it's amazing how many times your week will actually play out just like you plan it if you plan it. So it does take a little bit of discipline, and it's something that I want to go through with you right now is how I plan my ideal week. So this is my work week. It doesn't have to be yours, but hopefully you can take some information from this and really plan it out. So I've got basically the same number of days as you. I've got Monday through Sunday. Those are all my days. Nobody else has any more than I or any less. So on this Monday, I call Monday a preparation day. That's all it is. I'm not expecting anything more from Monday than making sure Monday allows me to set my entire week up. I've heard other people say, I like to set my entire week up on the Friday for the next week. Well, by the time Friday hits, I'm so done and so tired, I just don't have the time or energy or inclination or wherewithal to do that. So I make sure that first thing I do Monday morning, I get up and I lay out and plan out my week. So I have what's called my ideal week. In my ideal week, and I'm going to actually put a template in the show notes. So you can download my template of my ideal week. So maybe you can use that as a jumping off point and hopefully design something that works for yourself. But for my ideal week, I have 3 crucial must-dos. So these are the 3 things that if nothing else gets done that week, those 3 things absolutely have to get done. And the first thing I do is I do them as quickly as possible. If I can get all 3 of those things done by the end of Monday, then my whole week is a success, and I haven't even really gotten into it yet. So I do them as quickly as possible. So number 1, you want to make sure the 3 absolute must-do things, you lay them out, you know what they are, and you focus on them first. Then I take a look at all the strategic projects that I want to move forward. So list them. So list all the next steps for each project that you want to complete. So if you have, a project that's a very large project, well, you don't want to try and necessarily complete the whole thing at once because maybe it's going to take longer than a week to do so, and you can't have it take the entire week because there's other things you have to get done. So what I like to do is break it into what do I want to move forward on that project for that week. So I list all the projects that I want to touch during the week, and I list the item that I want to move forward on that project, and so I keep on focused on that. Then I also list the meetings that I have for that week. So if I have, 6 or 10 or 20 or however many meetings, then I want to make sure that each one of those meetings is 100% prepared for on Monday. So I don't have to worry about doing any preparation during the week. When I drive into the office and I go in to sit down and to start my meetings, I want that day's meeting queue or docket or whatever you want to call it laid out, completely printed, all the deliverables there. So I just have to walk out, grab the package for that meeting, sit down and go through it. So I'm going to review each meeting. I'm going to make a list of all the meetings that I have for that week and list everything that needs to be done for that meeting and make sure that all that information gets done. So by the end of Monday, there should be no meeting that's not prepared for. Now, I try to get my staff to prepare for most of my meetings because a lot of the information that I do, a lot of the meeting prep that I have is, it's unique to the client, but it is somewhat routine in its delivery. So, if I'm doing review meetings for everybody, well, I'm going to be talking about similar things. So I have a certain process that we've designed that my staff will go through to prepare for those meetings. Now, the components of the deliverables that the client's going to get are all unique to them. So that's where the customization comes in, but the overall structure is somewhat the same. It's more of a templated approach. So I have all my staff prepare for the meetings. So therefore, it doesn't take me a lot of time to prepare for each meeting because really all I'm doing is making sure that all the information that I want to have included in the meeting is there. I'm not doing the prep for it. I'm actually doing the oversight and the review to make sure that everything is in order. So those are the 3 things. You definitely want your top 3 to-dos. Touch all the strategic projects that you want to move forward and make sure that you have all your meetings prepped on the Monday for the week. Then I'll compile all the Twitter posts that I want to distribute for the week. So again, I've talked about it before where, we do a lot of Twitter and I want to make sure that the Twitter feeds and the Twitter content that I'm putting out there is really valuable. So I'll spend some time going through and gathering a whole basically a week's worth of information that I want to send out to my followers, and I'll schedule all that in advance. So for the entire week, it's going to happen for me, so I don't have to worry about tweeting on a daily basis. And the information, I mean, it just makes sure it's really as high quality information as you can find, and it's targeted toward your audience. And we can go into that further in a future episode. You want to also complete the meeting documents, the reviews for all your meetings for the week. So we talked about that before. It's also part of the prep day. And then the final thing on the prep day is the 3 critical must-dos. So make sure that if you can get them all done that day, then your whole week is a success, and anything else you get done is gravy. So that's my Monday. Monday is all about preparation. Tuesday is what I call a money day. Now, I have meetings all day on Tuesday. 80% of the day should be devoted to making money. Basically, any activity that moves you forward from a revenue standpoint, these are what you want to have on your Tuesday. Now, 80% of those activities, because sometimes things just do creep in. I mean, 20% of the day is spent working on moving strategic projects forward because maybe you just have to deal with on that day. But 80% of the day should really be devoted toward the activities that you do that generate revenue for you. So I also follow this one rule. If all of my meetings for that day are done, say by noon, I leave and work somewhere else. I don't stay in the office. The office, I'm really only going into the office when I absolutely have to. So I want to make sure that I'm very virtual, and I'm very I'm moving around quite a bit. I don't want to get stuck into my cave because when you get stuck in the cave, it just means you just sort of settle into an inefficient mode. So if I'm done for the day and I know I've got a few other projects that I want to be working on, I'll take the projects with me and I'll go to a coffee shop. I'll go to a different location. I'll go somewhere else and work on it, because then I'm focused on that location. And I can always be reached through a cell phone and whatnot. But I make sure that if I am done for the day, then I don't stick around and do a lot of work unless I have to be in the office to do that work. It's all about getting out of your cave. When you get into your cave, you get too complacent and you then start to become a little more inefficient. So keep yourself on your toes and force yourself to only take with you what you want to work on, and then just work on that. Focus time is amazing time. Then comes Wednesday. Wednesday is really, as far as I'm concerned, it's Tuesday repeated. The only thing I have on Wednesdays is I record this particular podcast on Wednesdays. So, from 4:30, I sit down and I do recordings. But up until that point, I'm basically dealing with any meetings and stuff for that day. So, I usually come into this recording really quite charged, because I've had some good meetings with clients, and I've had some conversations, and I've had done some activities that are generating revenue. So you feel pretty good about that. Same thing on Thursday. It's another money day. Again, it's the Tuesday, Wednesday repeated. So on those days, they're all templated for me. I know what I have to do. It's basically meeting with the clients. Now, on the Thursday, I have a satellite office, so I actually go and work out of that office. It's just a different location, but again, keeps me on my toes. I don't want to get caught into a cave. I think I've talked about it in the past, where I talk about sort of getting out of your office and not having an office, so that you don't have a place that you can actually settle into and have as your cave. Now, Friday comes along. Now, Friday is what I call a floater day. Now, on Fridays, the focus is to complete the week's follow-up and do any prep for my days off. So what this is, it's a day where I've got stuff left over that I just have to get done, some paperwork, some analysis, some whatever, anything that's follow-up from the week that I want to make sure doesn't go into the weekend with me. I get that done. And then I do any preparation for the time off that I'm going to have. So, I could take the entire Friday off, which, generally I like to do. It's just recently I've been involved with a few other projects that are keeping me quite busy. So as I say, I'm not perfect, and it's not a solution where it works every time. But when you get sort of into a groove and you're in the business is humming along, basically, I wouldn't even take Fridays as floater days. I would just say, you know what, my Friday is going to be my day for, it's just going to be taking it off. I'm going to take it as a day off day. And I'll use during the week, I'll schedule time during the week to make sure I'm prepared for that type of day, because, we do need time to rejuvenate. So, anyways, that's where I'm at with my Fridays right now. It's kind of a floater day, and I'm using it to really make sure I'm prepared for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, these are days off, and this is when you want to play. So, as I've maybe mentioned in the past, my daughters are involved in dance, competitive dance. So I do spend a lot of time at dance studios. So I make sure I'm, somewhat virtual. If I've chosen that I'm going to work on those days, then I make sure I bring some work with me. If I've chosen that that's going to be a free day, then I basically take that day completely off and I don't even bring my any work with me, whatever. If it's a day where I've said this is going to be a day off, then I mean you take the day off. You don't do 10 minutes. You don't do 20 minutes. You don't take phone calls. You don't do any of that. You just completely take the day off. Now, as I say, it doesn't work all the time, and you want to, but I think if you can try for 100% and you end up getting 75%, you're doing a lot better than you would otherwise. So do your best with that and really, capture those days. And if they're free days and days off, take them as days off and make sure that you do keep them as days off, because that's what's going to allow your head to really rejuvenate. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking to myself, I could use a few days off coming up because we've been working so hard. We've got a lot on the go right now. And so, I really do need to plan some days off because I haven't really taken many days off in the past. And it's because we've got a lot of stuff that we're working on that I'm actually quite enjoying. But even though I'm enjoying it, it does take a toll on you. So anyways, definitely that's a 7-day work week that seems to work well for me. Monday, a prep day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are money days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be days off. That's an ideal week for me. Now, as I say, it doesn't always work. Aim for 100%. You'll end up with 75 to 80%. And it really is a great routine that when you can get into that routine and you plan your days properly and you start off with your ideal week template and fill it in, it really makes for an efficient week. So what I'm going to do in the show notes, I'm going to put my ideal week template there. So you can get there'll be a PDF of it. You can print that off and take a look at what one looks like. As well, I'm going to give you a link to the software that I use to keep track of it all, because this software, it's a free software program. I highly recommend you go take a look at the template that I've put together. I'll even maybe put a file that you can upload into the software so you can actually use it in the software and see if you can make it work for yourself. But check it out. It's fantastic software. It's free software. Get registered on for it and go from there. And hopefully you can incorporate that into your day. I will tell you that the software is cloud-based, so it doesn't matter what computer you're on. They've got an interface for your iPad, for your an iPhone. So you can access your ideal week wherever you are, whenever you need to. That's the thing I love about this particular program, is that it allows me to access it with whatever device I'm using. So I usually have my phone with me. I can always access my schedule and say, okay, I'm done this project, or I want to work on something different. What do I need to work on? And there it is as a reminder for me. So that's the ideal week template. And, plan your week in advance. So that's my core belief number 2, is that if you don't plan it in advance, it's not going to work out for you. So make sure you do plan your week in advance. Now, core belief number 3, and some of you, I don't know, maybe I'm going to get some flack for this. Maybe I'm going to get some comments that are saying, oh, what are you, crazy? That's not good, whatever. But I tell you, it works like a charm. And every time I test it to see if I'm not doing the right thing, it just proves to me time and time again that, it is the right thing. And that core belief is, don't answer your phone. Do not be the one to answer your phone. So if you don't believe me, do a test. Test for the day and let me know how many of the calls should have gone to voicemail. How many of the calls were a complete waste of your time? So do a test for the day and let all of your calls go to voicemail, and then see how many were important. So you can either look at it one or the other way. Either answer every call and record on maybe a little sheet whether or not that call needed to be handled by you, or if it could be handled by somebody else, or if it was just a waste call altogether, or if the call was absolutely important that it needed to be handled by you. Or go the other way and just say, okay, I'm going to let every call go to voicemail, and then at the end of the day, check your voicemail, and do this for a couple of days if you want. Check your voicemail and see how many of those calls were so urgent that they needed me to answer them right away. The phone, it interrupts your flow so quickly. It's amazing how quickly it does that. So, but here's what I do say. I'm saying don't answer your phone. I'm not saying don't have your phone answered. So what I have done in my situation is I have a press 0 option for immediate assistance. And what that allows me to do is somebody calls in, it basically says, hi, it's Scott. I'm unable to take your call right now. For immediate assistance, press 0 and you'll be transferred to my assistant, Jill. Otherwise, please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Now, what I find is that the majority of calls that do come through to me, actually go through, and people don't leave a voicemail because they've pressed 0. Now, if that's important enough, it goes directly to my assistant. She takes the call. If it's that critical that it needs to come to me, she then brings it to me. If it's not that critical, or if she can handle it, and she knows that her job is to try and handle as many of those calls as possible, then she goes ahead and handles it. So, and 9 times out of 10, the voicemails that are left for me, if it is a client and they are needing to hear me, I've got it set up so that the voicemails get emailed to me basically seconds after they're left. So what happens is the email comes in, I'll check the voicemail, listen to it. If it's something I need to respond to, I call the client right back. It's amazing the number of times the client says, wow, I just left the message for you. Thanks so much for getting back to me so quickly. And I say, well, I just stepped out of the office, missed your call, unfortunately, but I got the voicemail. What can I do for you? And it goes a long way. So if it is critically important, I do get back to them. So I've got the mechanism set up where I'm setting myself up for success. I'm not letting my time be wasted by people who are calling me and really I shouldn't be taking the phone call. I do have a solution in place that if they need to speak with somebody immediately, they can get the assistance. And if they do need to speak with me immediately, they either speak with my assistant Jill and then she touches base with me, or they leave me a message and I listen to it. And if I do agree that it is important, I get right back to them. So it's a solution that works. It's a huge time saver. So definitely take advantage of my core belief number 3, which is don't answer your phone. Now, core belief number 4, document before you delegate. So you'll hear all over the place when it comes to good time management and good business growth and whatnot, delegate the things that you shouldn't be doing. And that may be, that's good advice. However, the one thing that's not being done is oftentimes people aren't documenting what they need to delegate or documenting what needs to be done. So they maybe say, hey, I need to get this done. Can you do it? And then that person doesn't do it the way they wanted them to do it. They didn't know because they were just doing it the way they thought they were supposed to do it. And then the person says, well, I can't delegate anymore because nobody can do it like I can. Well, that's your own fault. You haven't set it up properly. So here are some tools and some solutions that I use when it comes to delegation. Number 1, document it. So how do I document all of my delegations? Well, the first thing I do is I do a lot of video unique methods. Now, what that means is I'm not setting up a video camera or a digital camera and actually taking a video of me doing it. What I'm doing is I'm using what's called screen capturing. So screen capturing, oftentimes what needs to be done is being done on a computer. So what I do is I do a screen capture with an audio narration of me doing it. So very similar to what I'm doing right now. I've got my screen up in front of me and it's got some notes of things that I want to talk about. So I've got the notes and everything there and I'm talking. So I could record all of this. Now what I do, if there's a certain task that I want to have done or if there's a certain thing that I need to have done, then I will go through and I will narrate, here's what needs to be done. And if it's something that's a routine, almost like a how-to manual or something like that, then I will take the time and I'll go through every little step. And it's amazing how people enjoy seeing the little steps because there's certain nuances that you oftentimes can't explain unless people see it. So definitely take advantage of the video unique methods, making sure that you're using screen capturing software to do that. And then keep a library of all of these unique methods. So what that means is that when you have new staff come in, if you hire somebody new and they need to start doing things, now you've actually got your training material already set aside. So we have in our Salesforce database, we have a library in there of all the training material. And it's great because it's searchable. So we have keywords that you can search by. And if you need to do an address change for a client or a birthday letter for a client or whatever, then all you do is you type in that information or you just type in how to, and it brings up all the videos. You scroll through the video and find the one that you need to get done. So it's a great solution. Now, how I capture all of that is I use a program called Camtasia. So for the PC, there's a program called Camtasia. It is worth so much more than you pay for it. So definitely, if you haven't got Camtasia, get a copy of Camtasia. There's a free download you can get just to try it out. Set it up and give yourself a headset with a microphone and you're away to the races. You can create some really cool, unique methods on how to do things using that. If you're using a Mac, there's a program called ScreenFlow. Same idea, same concept. So you go ahead and do that and then you save the file and then you've got it for future reference. So proper delegation, if it doesn't work, if delegation has been a challenge in the past, it's only because you haven't set it up properly. So what I do here, set it up properly so that people are being delegated with all the tools that they need to have a successful delegation, and you can really make a lot of headway with that. So those are the core beliefs. I mean, core beliefs: reduce the amount of time it takes to do something in order to get it done. Plan your ideal week in advance. Don't answer your phone, and document before you delegate. If you can take advantage of those 4 core beliefs and incorporate that into your practice, you will find you will become so efficient at what you do. It's amazing how much you'll be able to get done. Now, the striving part of all this is you want to strive to become a resultsaholic as opposed to a workaholic. Being a workaholic, it's great. You're probably doing a lot and you're feeling good about yourself. But the reality is, I don't care anything about the level of work. All I care about are results. Know what you want done and what it will look like when it is done. Focus on getting things done. Encourage your staff to get things done. If they're efficient and you find that they're getting things done and it's a beautiful day, do what I do. And I have what's called an out of the blue, go home early email. So if it's a beautiful day in the summer and I know that they've worked hard in the week and they're basically sitting there and it's Friday afternoon, and I know that Friday afternoon is pretty slow around a financial firm. So what I do is I might call them at 11 o'clock or email them at 11 or 12 and say, you know what, if you get to the middle of the day and there's really not much going on, just take the day off, or take off. It's, no sweat off my nose, because I'd rather have you do that and enjoy things and be happy about it, because there are going to be days when I'm going to need you to work late. I'm going to need you to really step up. So, if there's no need for them to be there, just like myself, if there's no need for me to be there, I don't really want to be there. So if I can, make a bit of a long weekend for my staff, then I like to do that as well. So take advantage of that. Those are some things that will really enhance your productivity. Take advantage of the core beliefs. Definitely go onto the show notes and download the template that I've got there for you. Register for the free software to give it a try, and take advantage of that, because it's going to make you so much more results oriented. And, being a resultsaholic is so much better than being a workaholic. So please go to www.feebasedfinancialplanningmastery.com. Click on episode 4. You can post any questions that you have with regards to this particular episode, and I'll do everything I can to get answers to you on those. I may answer them in an upcoming episode, or I may answer them right online, but definitely ask your questions there. Also, check out our toolbox and recommended reading list to see a listing of the other resources I use to run my successful fee-based financial planning practice. Take advantage of that, and take advantage of the software that's there. If you're in there and you're going through, why don't you try out some of the software links that I've put there for you? I use them. Anything that goes on that toolbox list or the recommended reading I've either read, am reading, or am using and currently using in my practice right now. Nothing I put up there is something that I'm not using. If I'm not using it, it's not worth you checking out, because I'm going to test everything. I want you to learn from my mistakes. So take advantage of that. I know that the software for the templated My Ideal Week, you're going to love that. The ways that we can start using that type of software are huge, and we're going to talk more about that in a future episode. So get out there and build yourself a better practice.
You've been listening to Scott E. Plaskett, a certified financial planner and industry veteran in the world of fee-based financial planning. Want free resources to help you build a better fee-based financial planning firm? Visit ilovefinancialplanning.com right now to register for Scott's Inner Circle email list, where you'll get front-of-the-line updates on the latest resources that are driving profits to Scott's fee-based financial planning practice. All of the resources are pulled directly from the highly acclaimed Fee-Based Financial Planning Mastery Academy. Go now to ilovefinancialplanning.com. Build a better business and make more money with your fee-based financial planning practice today.